Hi everyone and welcome to this week's podcast. I've some amazing feedback from our first pilot episode. We've taken all that feedback, we've taken a week off and we're coming back bigger and better. So this week we had a very busy fundamental week. We had the interest rate changes from the Bank of England, we had the interest rate changes from the Fed, and we've also had the monthly NFP report, which we covered in our last episode. But keeping all that in mind, there was still a few entries and stuff that we could have had, which we posted out on our platform. Our platform is completely free to join. If you're having some experience of a trader or if you're completely new to it, we also offer some education in the form of our course. There's daily videos covering all the price action and the latest news. And new this week, we're going to be trialing a live group trading sessions on Wednesday afternoon. Again, completely free, and everyone is welcome to join. We've been getting some amazing reviews, so be sure to check them out over on our Instagram page. But for now, here's one from Abby. Abby had no experience whatsoever in trading, but has been working hard and working her way through the course. So now over to our guest of the week. I've been trading with Racheal for now over the last few years, and we're going to dive into her journey and find out how she's getting on. Hello, Racheal, and welcome to the podcast. Thank you very much for coming on. So why don't you sort of introduce yourself to our listeners, sort of where you're from, what's your current sort of like job, life, trading balance like?
I'm Racheal. I'm from Dublin in Ireland, and my current job was dental nursing. I did that for about 14, 15 years and kind of came to the stage where I was like, right, I had enough of this. I don't want to do it anymore. Just the same, going to work every morning, doing the same kind of routine, coming back. I was like, right, I'm just fed up. So I decided to say, right, I'll go back and do another job. So I went out and did airport security. Dublin Airport out there for kind of like seasonal work just for a couple of months. Loved it out there. It was great. Really liked it. The hours were like mental, like 4 o'clock in the morning, coming in at 12, and it's just a whole lot of messing around. But then I kind of was sitting there going, like, what else would I like to do? Because you're just at the end of your life, right, what will I do? And I came across the trading. So signed up for a few courses.
Yeah.
And started off from that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No, that's good. So how long ago roughly was that? Let's sort of how long have you been trading for now?
I did my first course. I think it was in 2020. Let me say, 2020. It would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, in town. So I signed up for a course, but he was all like SP 500 and. I think it was just kind of money grab with the course.
Yeah, like a lot of them are, aren't they?
Yeah, like a half-assed college and stuff like that. And because I had a tiny little bit of an insight on it.
Yeah.
And I was using TradingView for analysis, where they were using what is it, XT Capital or something like that.
Right. Okay.
That was their platform.
Yeah.
And straight away I could see the difference. I was like, all right, this fucking platform is shy. And he's like, shh, don't say anything to anyone else. Like, true, because obviously they were getting funded for whoever signs up on their platform.
Yeah, well, I think back in that sort of a couple of years ago, obviously during that sort of COVID time, that's when we sort of see that big influx of just sort of new people trying to look for that extra income. Like I was one of them people that obviously needed some sort of extra income because I was plumbing and stuff. So we didn't know what was going on during that COVID times, wasn't it? And everyone just sees everything on Instagram, something that's well advertised. They're just trying to get their newbies in. And then even if they don't end up staying, once they got their money, they can just get that sort of next let of new people on. They're not sort of looking at that long-term goal, are they?
Yeah, well, that was it. I think it was just like, and then sign up to my course. And then I signed up to another course he had, which was advanced trading and financial and something, and then it was SP seasonalities and just kind of doing these little few bitty courses. But I definitely don't even use anything I've learned on his course at all.
No,
completely. Everything that I've learned there is like, no, I don't use it. So like, it goes to show you, you could do all these courses that are
No, that's it. But it is all experience and stuff, though. Like, I don't regret going through my signal groups and my retail trading groups and stuff, because it was the sort of journey and the experience that I had to go on. Obviously, if we can point people in the right direction now of what the sort of we think are the better sort of ways to go and what to sort of try and cut out and help them save that bit of money and that sort of time frame, then we does. But I don't regret any of my sort of journey, because it's kind of got us where we are now.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it is the journey on its way, but like, it's kind of, you'd be glad then when you actually found something that really works, that when you're seeing it, you're actually seeing what's happening on the charts, and you know exactly what your bias is and the whole lot. Where kind of at the start, I was like, even when I was in the Golden Suite, where I met you and Costa and that to me, I think, was a little bit overwhelming, I think, because there was so many people in it, and then you're kind of half afraid to put your chart up, and you're this, that, and the other, and I don't feel like you are getting the proper, not even one-to-one, but, you know, like, an odd time you'd put up something, and some person you'd say, oh, can anyone have a look at this for me? And you get an odd person that would say, all right, that's wrong, or that's right, or, do you know what I mean? So, which I'm kind of glad now, because we have our own kind of little group, and we have had for a good while, which is great when you're able to put your analysis up, and then obviously you to have a look at it, or someone else to have a look at it, and to say, well, this is this, and don't look at it that way, or, do you know what I mean? So help you along with the analysis. So
no, that's it. And just having that sort of good community around you, like you say, like, and because we've got so many, like a range of people, we've got people just starting out, we've got people that may have been trading retail and sort of switching over, so they've kind of got a background to it already. We've got sort of smart money traders, and then we've got like full-time traders and stuff. Having that sort of variety definitely sort of helps in the community, rather than loads of people just coming in trying to learn and everyone not being able to answer the questions that you want. Is where in our group, obviously, we've got quite a few people that can sort of pitch in and help out whoever needs help out, or people just want to just share their stuff, isn't it? So when what was it that attracted you to trading in the first place? Why did you think, obviously, like when you was looking at, why did you think, oh, I'm going to go with trading and not say like something like these Amazon resellers, or because there's like quite obviously a lot of internet based jobs you can go for? What was it that attracted you to actually forex trading?
I think the fact that, I don't know, maybe because I think when we were going to Turkey one time with the kids and stuff like that, I think it was just the exchange of the Turkish lira to the euro at the time. I was like, that's mad. Like, there's money to be made there. Do you know what I mean? So that kind of had my brain thinking at that time. And then I kind of got in, and then looking at stocks and stuff like that. And then, as I said to you, then I went in and did that course for the SP500. And he was even saying to me, but I just kept going back to Forex all the time. I don't know what it was, but we just kept getting drawn back to Forex currencies. And everyone was saying, they're so hard. Why don't you try stocks? Or why don't you try something else? Every other kind of person kept putting me off the Forex.
Yeah, but I think I actually think that Forex is probably one of the safer things to, like, obviously once you've mastered it and stuff, it's probably one of the safest things to do. Like, I know a lot of people that say, oh, why don't you trade crypto or stocks and stuff? But with crypto and stuff, it's it can sort of change just by people putting out tweets or
exactly,
where with currencies and stuff, countries can't really change their currency too much. Obviously, during a big pandemic and stuff, obviously we had sort of big movements and that. But even like when the pound, they say, crashing at the moment, it's still not like overnight you've not gone from say like the USD used to be 2 to 1 or even like 1.6. It's not just overnight gone to parity, if you know what I mean. They can't do that with a currency. It's a lot more stabler. So I think Forex is definitely a more sort of stable option than like your cryptos and like your Bitcoins and even stocks and things like that.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I definitely think the currencies are much easier to trade. I don't know why they'd be saying have a look at stocks. Obviously, stocks is doing something or whatever, but I just find you have a lot more volatility with currencies and stuff like that, and you have a better risk to reward with them. Where stocks are kind of sitting and waiting for earning report releases and this, that, and the other, where you can go in every day or any day and trade a currency, knowing if you know the daily bias of it, like you'd be happy with following that for the whole day, if you understand, from morning to afternoon.
Yeah,
So
no,
like you still
that's
have, yeah. So I don't know. I find the currency is much better than the stocks. And
Yeah, no, that's it. And I like, obviously, on my daily bread videos and stuff, I try and show that there is, obviously there's like hundreds of setups and stuff during a day, depending what sort of strategy you do. But obviously, like the strategy that I teach and stuff, there is 9 times out of 10, you can always sort of find that one trade within our strategy during a day. So it's not like you're just going in and wasting hours for no reason and sitting on your hands. You kind of are busy during them hours looking for a trade, and you can normally get at least one trade. And you kind of only need one trade a week for how we trade. Like if we're looking at sort of 1 to 5s and stuff, you only need to be making that 5% a week and looking
100%.
for that one trade.
Yeah. I think the problem is with people, even when they're learning it, is they get in and they're too anxious to get in, and they're not even thinking about the percentage. They're more thinking about the money aspect is kind of coming into them, and it's messing with their emotions. Where if they just go in and think, this is the percentage I want for today, or this is the percentage I want for the week, would have a better chance at actually making it with trading forex. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people do come in with that ambition of they've seen all the Instagram, they've seen all the fast cars, they just want to make the money. But realistically, like anything that's good, that's gonna sort of give you either a career on it or a good second income, it does take time to sort of master and learn. Like if you're going to go out and learn a trade, for example, you could go to college for 2 or 3 years. Like nothing's easy. No one goes in to learn to be a carpenter or something, and then within a week they're there fitting kitchens, making £200-300 a day, are they? It's like you've got to go through that journey, and you've got to go through them stages. You kind of just got to not worry about the money sort of side of things. And then when you do sort of start trading, like we always talk about, you want to just talk about in percentages, because then it doesn't matter if you've got £100 account or £100,000 account, you're still looking to make say 4 or 5%, or so then you don't, otherwise the money sort of messes with your head, doesn't it? Like you've just touched on.
Definitely. 100%. Like remember the time we were doing the €10, you put a tenner in and you try to flip the tenner to make 100.
Yeah,
like that was grand with percentage, because it kind of gave you the reality of working with a live account.
Yeah.
And then trying to obviously do your percentage and stuff like that. So I think that was actually really good starter for us.
Yeah.
Because you could see you'd have the excitement of the emotion saying, oh yeah, well I doubled that today or this, that, and the other. But like, yeah, it's still like when you put it in percentage, then after a while, like we got the sense of knowing what to do and control them emotions. Even I know it was only like £5 and £10 or whatever.
We was trying to like flip it to 100 and then 100 to 1,000 and 1,000 to sort of 10 grand and stuff like that. Sort of risking like 5 or 10%, but on a really small account that we was trying to flip and then taking money out, wasn't it? But yeah, so that's one way of doing it. And obviously, like with people who've just got their personal accounts, obviously I risk on my personal account sort of 2 or 3%. But like on sort of funded accounts, you want to try and keep that percentage as low as possible. Otherwise you will end up, because you've got them strict rules, blowing it. So when you are sort of learning, even on like demo, and even if you've got like just £100 account, if you start off sticking to rules of just risking 1% and trying to make your sort of 5% for the week or whatever your goal is, then when you do take a challenge or you do get funded accounts, then your mindset's already in that, isn't it?
Yeah, you just carry it through then. So obviously by working with the smaller ones and then doing the trials and just having it like as if it's a natural thing to you. It's like obviously like playing a video game and you're going from one level to the next level to the next level.
Yeah, that's it.
You're using that percentage.
Sometimes you don't complete a level and you have to take that step back and then learn a little bit more about that level before you then go on and do that level again. But yeah, so obviously we touched on how you started out and how we met, obviously like the Golden Suite and stuff like that. And then I think it quite come like comparant that wasn't our style of trading, was it? So we then moved on to the Forex Star with our good friend over there. Which he had like it was like a cross, wasn't it, between sort of retail trading and sort of how the bank sort of traded. And he had a bit of a good thing going on there, and we sort of learned that strategy. I don't know how we sort of describe what the sort of trading strategy was then, because it wasn't quite smart money, it wasn't quite retail trading, was it?
Yeah, I think it was a mix in between two. It still had the concept of kind of smart money as well when you actually really look at it. I didn't go back looking at my charts from, say, I'd open a pair that I haven't used in a long time, and I'd see still the markings on the charts from when I was on it. I was like, oh my God, the difference between the chart now and the difference between the chart and then, like, but even like knowing, like, you have the London Open and stuff like that, like, at that time, we knew obviously the markets were open at that time, but we didn't realise exactly what was happening, which way the markets were running and what they were trying to do at these times. And now we do. So it's kind of, we have a much better insight on what the markets are doing at these specific times, which we call them, like, obviously the London kill zone and New York kill zone or whatever.
But just learning. I know that's what I always find interesting. Like anything I do, I always want to know how things work and why they does. Like, so as where before, obviously retail trading, I it's a fake out, or this is that, when really it's just looking to grab liquidity before it moves the other way. So I definitely think that the smart money switch was better, because I think it was, so after all that, didn't we? And we was doing quite well with that sort of strategy. Raf then introduced us to smart money, wasn't it? Sort of like the very basics of the sort of smart money. But obviously, as we have just learned that, Raf had some news and stuff and had to go elsewhere. So then we sort of moved on. And I think, was it a lot of YouTube and things like that was sharing a lot of videos more about smart money, and we were sort of kind of self-educating from there, wasn't we?
Yeah, 100%, because I think the two of us were just kind of left, oh, right, what will we do, whatever. We were like, oh, here, look, we'll head on through and keep going. You were looking at stuff, I was looking at stuff, and we were just exchanging what we were learning and how to do it, and trialing it out on charts, and obviously back testing and forward testing and stuff like that. So I think we kind of came to where we are today. The knowledge that we have from the two of us, learning from obviously each other, and then obviously off other discords and stuff like that, and kind of still came together. So
I think, and then that's kind of why we then sort of started up our platform and stuff. Look, then what I've always tried to create is I want an atmosphere, and I wanted something like I would have wanted when I was learning. That's how I tried to always picture it. Like, what would I have wanted when I either started out or I was sort of stuck in between, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, things like that. That's how I've always tried to make this, obviously, like the community sort of side and the educational sort of side. I always just have that one thought in my head, that one question. What would I have wanted when we was sort of stuck in that middle of that road, searching YouTube and not knowing really where to go? So just having that sort of platform there, that's where people can sort of come to now and either level up their trading or even just start their journey. And that's what kind of, I've always wanted to do, really. So
well, at least you have a kind of an environment there where people kind of feel comfortable with each other, and they're not afraid to say, oh, I will ask that question. I know it's stupid, but no question is stupid, because
exactly.
you don't know it and someone has the answer. You be the stupid person not to ask.
And I think it only takes so someone actually started asking questions and stuff, and then it actually brought more people out of their shell to then start doing it. And now, because people do it on a regular basis, it's just a thing that we can do. Everyone's open with each other. Everyone can ask whatever they want, because I've obviously seen that certain people have asked questions, and then someone else has jumped in and saying, oh, I actually wanted to ask that question, or I wanted that information. So then we try and make a thing of it, maybe make a video or put up the justification, which then other people can go through and get that same answer, rather than if you're speaking to someone privately and then someone else is messaging privately. If you kind of have that in that community that's open to everyone, everyone else can sort of benefit off that question as well.
Yeah, definitely, because it's not just the one person asking the question. It's probably the two or three behind him that want to know the same answer, that are just too afraid to ask or whatever. Putting charts up and stuff like that. Like, I would definitely encourage people to start throwing their charts up and stuff like that. I used to be like that. I would be, I'm not throwing that up, that looks stupid, or you kind of have that little thing about you. But every time you put your chart up then, and then people are looking at it going, right, well, this at this level here, or, this is a SND zone or whatever. So you have a much better idea then where to be putting your boxes and what to be doing and what to be looking for.
No, exactly. And I don't think there's anything, there's no such thing as wrong analysis.
Yeah.
Because everyone sees the chart slightly different anyway. They might see certain zones, or they might see certain liquidity or whatever. So there's no such thing as wrong analysis. It's only ever learning. So like we've got a section on our group that it used to be called losing trades. That I've now changed to lesson trades, because there's no such thing as a losing trade if you're learning a lesson from it. I've got in a little bit too early there. I should have waited for the sort of early buyers and the early sellers, or there was liquidity sat above it or anything like that. You learn from it and then you can move on to the next time. So it's not ever, you don't ever lose something. You're just sort of learning from it.
Yeah, definitely. As well, like, and even like going from your higher time frame down, your weekly, your daily, down to your 4 hour, your 1 hour. Even like have a look through your trades from the day before, exactly what time and what happens. Did it go for the liquidity? It's just so you know each day. Then when you open up your charts and you're having a look, you know exactly where it's going to reach for, or where does it want to go.
Yeah.
So even if you're not trading, just kind of keep an eye on them and have a look. I always look every day. I always just stick. I mightn't trade, but I'll have a look exactly to see what it's doing, where it's going, and where it wants to go.
Yeah, no, exactly. And as you know, I'm a big thing on that. I always try and talk about it in the group a lot, that at the end of every day, I would always go back over, obviously, I only trade EU, but I would always go back over EU and mark out that whole day of potential trades, what happened. I put all the labels on it. I sort of make it a little bit over the top, go through it all, and then I sort of take a mental note. I don't even journal it anymore, because obviously I put it all in the Daily Bread video. So if there's anything I want to watch, I just watch it back on that. But I used to sort of just screenshot it and put it in a journal with a couple of little notes, even though most of the notes are already on the screen. But if you're doing that on a daily basis, you're literally just training the eye and sort of training your brain. So when it does happen and it is playing out in front of you,
you can see it.
You can see it, because it is very repetitive, the market. So I've been doing that for months now, and I still do it to this day, every single day. What setups was there? What time was it? What sort of was the RRR? What was my stop loss? What was the confirmations?
Even if you didn't take the trade, you're still looking at what it's doing, where it's
exactly.
going.
I still mark them out every single night, mark it all out, and then just delete it off.
Yeah, and you know me, I used to absolutely fucking hate EU. It's like, I hate this pair, and now I kind of like, I'm grand. I actually look at it every day as well, like, so.
But again, that's just come on the knowledge of how it actually moves, and then you just get used to that pair. Like a lot of the pairs are, like, obviously they do move in the same way as obviously like how we teach like smart money and the strategies and stuff, but each pair is slightly different. They do have their own characteristics and stuff, so that is always good. So one of the other things I want to touch on, obviously over the years, I know you always call them sort of brain freezes and things like that, where people do get that sort of mind block of, I can't look at the chart, I don't know what's going on. What would you say is like the best sort of thing? Like everybody has it, so it's not just like if you're thinking it's just you or whatever, everybody does have it, that sort of brain freeze. I can't see anything on the chart today. What do you think would be the best advice to sort of get over that and just sort of try and stick at it?
Yeah, I used to, like, sometimes I'd be sitting there and it'd probably even happen for 2 or 3 days, and sometimes it might even go on for a week. I'd get my whole weekly bias wrong, and I'd be like, oh my god, nothing's going the way it should be in what I'm looking at. So I think just get up, back off, give yourself 2 or 3 days away from the charts, then get back in, go back and analyse exactly what you were looking at, what you thought you were seeing, and go back through and have a look exactly what was happening happening in the charts.
No, exactly. And sometimes there isn't, like, we do have slow days, especially when it's building up to news and stuff. Like especially if you're trading sort of like the higher time frames, I can normally find something on the lower sort of time frames. But there is days where I do make my daily bread videos and said there was nothing for me today. Like it does happen. There's not always a trade on at that certain time, so you can't always force it. Let the trades come to you. Let the setups play out. Try not to jump in too early. Like I've just done a video on how I always wait for early buyers and sellers, because I know so many people that just get into the trade, get literally pipped out of their stop loss, and then the trade goes their way. So like that sort of power of waiting for the early traders and sellers, and it doesn't always play out, but I'm happy just to wait for that and just take that. Like I say, I only need one trade a week, but I can normally find 2 or 3 trades easily that match my plan and my entry drill in a week. And if you miss the big move, so what? There'll be another big move.
100%. Yeah, there's always got to be the next move on the chart. Like what goes up must comes down, and vice versa. So like you're gonna catch it at some stage.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's it.
I think you just have the fear of missing out of, oh shit, I missed that trade today. Well,
and that's where the emotions and that all come into it, where you've kind of got to be emotionless. There will be more trades, emotionless of getting into a trade, and then when the biggest one is when people are in trades, that emotion of, oh, is it going to come down and take me out? Should I take profits? Oh, it stopped me out. I should have taken profit there, and so then the next time they take profit there and it carries on going. You've kind of got to just have what your strategy is. Like mine is, I always wait for a 1 to 5, and then I take 80%, move stop loss to entry.
And then leave the 20.
If I think it's going to go to a 1 to 15 because that's the next structure point, or there's news coming up and I know it's going to go there, I always take 80% of 1 to 5, because then other times when it's not going to go, when it does go to 1 to 5, or it sort of plays out with your probability and stuff. So having that sort of structure.
Yeah, definitely take some bread off the table. At least you know behind you then, right? You have your bread off the table and your stop loss is that entry, and you have banked someone.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't want to take it too early. So I see a lot of people doing it too early. Like they'll see a big candle go up, so then they move their stop loss to entry, and then it sort of just fills that imbalance, takes them out bang on their entry, and then it rockets to a 1 to 5, a 1 to 10, or whatever it may be. So there's that thing of taking it too early. Like you can always get 2 touches of your POI. So sometimes it might come in back into negativity, but or go like I'm not afraid of my stop loss being hit. I'm not afraid of if you have the correct risk management and you're only risking 1% of your account, then you shouldn't be worried about it hitting the stop loss if you know that you're going to get a 1 to 5 or whatever it may be, because you need them you need them to play out all the time in order to, because otherwise what you do, like I say, is you move your stop loss and then that rock is off to a 1 to 10. Next time you don't move it, and then if you keep chopping and changing, you end up or entering, and this is what I always go over with entering trades as well. You kind of want to take everything to your plan, because otherwise you might end up taking all the losing trades and missing out on the winning trades and things like that. So just having that, being emotionless of, right, this is my plan, this is what I'm going to stick to. If it doesn't go my way, it doesn't go my way, and when it does,
this is what I'm willing to lose today. I'm willing to lose 1% today.
Exactly.
On another trade. So like,
I see it. I think I can't remember if I shared it in our group or not. It was Ment FX posted up a thing about his mindset is when he goes into a trade, this is a losing trade.
Yeah.
Then when it goes up and he can move when he moves BE, okay, this is gonna take me back out of break even. Oh, I can move my stop loss up, or I can take this out. Oh, that's great. I can take this much up, but then it'll come back down to here, rather than that mindset of, I don't want to lose money on this, or I don't want to do that, because then when it does, it plays with you emotionally. So where you're currently at now then, so you've got a funded account with Samuel and Co.
Like yourself.
Yeah, that's it, like myself. And how are you finding that?
It's just a little bit slow, yourself with the 4% and stuff like that. So I'm focusing now just on actually just pulling out the FTMO when I'm ready. I'll do it, but just obviously I don't think you should be doing it when there's a lot of stuff going on.
No, that's it.
In your background, in your house or whatever. Like,
definitely. Then again, that goes back to the whole mindset thing, doesn't it? If you're not in the right frame of mind, if you've got a lot going on, you're tired or you're stressed or whatever, you're not seeing things clearly, you kind of got to have that fresh mind of not only what's going on the charts, but what else is going on around you.
100%, because it can definitely, like, you can go up and have a bad day and you'll sit there and say, right, I'm actually not fucking trading today, knowing that you're going in with not positive vibes, not positive emotions and stuff like that. So I'd get up and just leave it and come back to it then the next day, or maybe I'd study that day. So you're constantly learning with what we're doing anyway. So it's every day you have something to do, whether you've got to trade or you've got to do with study. So
yeah, and that's it. And the markets are always evolving all the time, and so you've kind of got to evolve with them. So there's always certain things to learn, or things to read up on. Like obviously I've added in a lot of like fundamental stuff over the last few months. Like, so every morning I'll be looking up at like the different news articles of where we're expecting price to go, or what the majority of people doing, or with like interest rates, like I covered in my daily bread video yesterday, is like what's being in the build up to an interest rate. Yes, they're expecting to hike rates, so they hike the rates and they price it all in building up to that. And then obviously, like we see last night, the rate hike was as expected, so we see it sort of weakened off. And then so just learning all them sort of bits as well, so where you're looking at when you're going to be in trades and when you should stay out of them, definitely sort of help.
Yeah, definitely them days anyways. I don't really kind of like trading when there's big news, because you just have not the proper run on the market that's supposed, that's the normal run.
No, exactly. You see, like the last couple of days, we've had some sort of textbook setups that just haven't come to my zone by like over a few pips and stuff, and a lot of the time that's just leaving it there for the news, like leaving that liquidity there so it can run that liquidity during the news.
100%, yeah.
So you kind of always not get so frustrated, because then I see people saying, I didn't get that one, so I'm going to jump in a little bit earlier on the next trade, or and then they end up getting taken out for and having a bigger stop loss than they actually wanted. So you just got to stick to your plan. There will be trades, and just don't sort of rush it. So I've got just a few more questions, and then I'll let you get on for your day. I know you've got a busy schedule. So rapid fire questions, right? What is your favourite pair to trade?
Probably EU now. EG.
Oh, I never thought I'd ever heard them words come out your mouth.
I know. EG. I traded EG with EU and GU as well. I had been on GJ for a while, but it's just a little bit all over the place at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. It's more EU and GU and EG at the moment.
Oh, nice. So what would be your favourite session to trade? So is it like sort of London, New York? Obviously, I know you don't trade Asian session. But yes.
Definitely London session for the opening, just to see obviously the bias on where the market is actually going for the day. See how it opens. If it opens the way I'd like it to open, textbook to open and stuff like that, then I know it's going to run straight into New York, and then New York session. See where the price is at the New York session. Is it reversal, or is it going to continuation through? So hopefully sometimes I'll be like, right, this is grand. This session's going to run right through, because it's going to go to another point of interest.
No, that's it.
It hasn't reached yet in the New York.
No,
so that's where it's going.
And like I used to love London, as you know, especially in the summer months, because then it meant I could go play golf in the afternoon. But I found a lot recently, especially over the last few weeks, that I'm not getting my entries in the morning. There's not so much going on in London, that I'm actually getting a lot of entries come that New York, when we've run the liquidity during London, and then we've got our reversal, and we've got our sort of bigger moves and stuff coming into New York. So I've actually found that I've switched from London being my favourite to probably New York, especially over the last couple of weeks. And this is where you've kind of got to be sort of change with the markets, because if you said, oh right, I'm only going to trade London, and then when it comes to these times there's no trades during London, they're all coming in New York, you're just missing out. So now I find myself watching and that in London and seeing what's going on, like you've said, where we're going for that directional, and then maybe looking for that sort of reversal, or even if it's just a sort of pullback to a discount or something during New York before we push on to that PRY for the day.
Yeah.
So do you have like a set target that you look for, like an RRR? Like I said, I'd do my 1 to 5, or is there a certain percentage that you try and look for the day or for the week?
No, I don't actually even set targets. I just let it run, and I sit and I watch. Obviously, I'll set a target if I'm going out or if I'm moving away from the trades. But normally, I just actually leave them open and have a look and see what's doing.
Wait for maybe that sort of sign of a reversal before taking anything off.
Check out what time it is there any news or something that would upset it, and then obviously just take it from there. So
and if there was sort of one thing that you would say that you like to see before entering a trade, if it be like, I don't know, a PRY, or do you like to see liquidity run, or some sort of entry drill, like so it's already starting a new trend? Is there something that in specific that you would say that you need to see before you enter a trade?
Obviously, just have all your contacts there and see where it is. Is it at a POI? Is it ready for reversal? And I definitely have time is a lot with my entries to do with it as well. Like
Yeah,
I'm kind of like watching from 7, half 7, half 7, 8, half 8,
yeah,
9, half 9, after half 9. If it's gone, if it's running its run, then I'd be happy enough with that.
yeah,
But if
yeah.
it doesn't go to where it goes between that time, I think I'll sit out.
Yeah, no,
Um,
like so I do the same. I have my trading hours of sort of 7 till 10. I call them 7 till 10 just to round up the hour, but the majority of the time I'll be looking sort of between 7 and 9 to actually enter a trade or sort of try and manage it then. And then I don't trade again until the afternoon, like 1 till 4, as you know.
yeah.
That's when I see the most monies in the market. So that's when you can kind of be in and out of trades, or even at least get your sort of your first lot of profits. So that's when we see the sort of bigger moves, and it makes it less stressful. I know I've been covering this recently on the Daily Bread video, like especially on EU, you get an impulse of 25 to 30 pips before you might get the pullback before the next one. So if you can be in an impulse with a 5 pip stop loss and a 30 pip TP or 25 pip TP, to take your profits off and then go stress free. Like it's so much less stressful than entering in a time between sort of 10 and 1, and then it's just moving sideways. Oh, is it going to take me out?
You don't want to be really catching it right in the middle of it, or when it's actually halfway through its run.
No, exactly. It's more stressful when it's moving sideways than if you can be in these impulses and be in and out of a trade in sort of 10, 15 minutes, or at least be sort of risk free in that time. And so you're not panicking or worrying, and it takes all that stress out of, then it takes the emotion. It definitely does help.
Yeah, and then you don't want to be at the tail start of the trade either. I kind of like let everyone a little bit take the liquidity and then let's see it move, and then
Yes, so it starts that new sort of trend. So that switch of trend. So I've got 2 more questions. So what's next for you? What do you eventually want to get to? Sort of what's the next steps, and what's like the end goal really?
Obviously, to just keep going, keep learning, keep going, getting these funded accounts until you're actually doing your own account with your bigger capital and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I think it's a journey that is constantly gonna keep going anyways. 100%. Like there's no other journey for me doing this. This is what I do now.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not gonna stop.
And you're quite like me. We sort of live and breathe it. Like I'm constantly always looking at stuff, or always on the charts, or even when I'm not at the computer, I'm checking on your phone. Or do you know what I mean? Like you kind of got to be focused, as like take it seriously rather than just a hobby. You've kind of got to take it seriously there.
It's definitely not a hobby. Like it's definitely something that you're at the learning. It's an education.
Yeah. And also, it's more of a lifestyle now as well. So,
yeah, definitely. You have to kind of treat it as a job. You sit down, you go to work in the morning, you look at your trades and stuff like that. And that's it. Like, definitely moving forward and not giving up. It is a bit of a thing that you could say, oh, do you know, I had enough of this. And, it is a long journey. You've been on it as well. Like,
yeah,
you're not going to learn this overnight. You're not going to learn it in a year. Like you have to put your time and your efforts and your sweat into it.
Yeah,
you have to study it. You have to know exactly what it's doing and why it's doing it. So,
and we tried to make like the education section and stuff on the platform like into smaller videos. I know that obviously we spoke about it before I sort of released it, and I sort of run a lot of things by you and stuff. But we tried to make each section so they're only sort of 20 minutes long, each video and stuff, so people can still learn when they are working just in the evening. If you can sacrifice that sort of hour and a half each evening, if you're doing that every evening and just looking up on videos and doing that little bit of testing, we're not making 3, 4, 5 hour courses, so it's not sort of doable. But then you do still need to just be putting in that sort of hard work of making sure you are doing that sort of each evening, for you to take it all in. So before we wrap things up then, is there anything you want to sort of add? Is there any sort of, do you have that sort of one bit of advice that you would give someone that was sort of starting out on their journey, other than sort of like you said, putting in the hard work and the hours and that, is there that one bit of advice you'd say, yes, this is the advice I'd give you when you're starting out on your journey?
Yeah, don't take it as if, oh, look, like if it's something you want, you have to be the person to go and get it.
Yeah.
When I want something, I'll go and get it. And that's it. And I don't care how long it takes to get it, I'll definitely just get it. So you kind of have to have that mindset. You're going to have a lot of setbacks with this. You're going to get pain, and like, you have to just keep going for what you want.
That's it. And like you're saying, you can't be sort of spoon-fed in this sort of industry, can you? Like,
100%. Like
a lot of people that join these sort of signal groups and stuff, they want to be told, right, this is the trade, you've got to put it on, and have no idea around it. You can't be spoon-fed. You kind of got to do your own sort of work, because you work out your own sort of style, your own sort of trading plan. I know that I try and obviously I teach what I do and what my trading plan is, but that's slightly different to what you do. Even though we trade in the same thing, you might want to look at something slightly different, or you might not want to enter on the time frame that I'm on, or you might want to look for something slightly different. So you've kind of just got to do what sort of suits your lifestyle and what you want to do, or what times you want to be on the charts, or how long you want to give a day, and just all things like that. There, you can teach all the sort of basics and how I trade and stuff, and like how you trade and stuff, but you've kind of still got to have your own initiative.
Yeah, definitely find a trading plan that fits you.
Yeah.
And just stick to your trading plan as much as you can. I know, like, through our journey, that we probably had one or two different trading plans at the time. Obviously, we were learning different types of trading. And they're
not wrong. Like I was talking to Costa about it before in the last episode. Like, I know, like, a lot of people still in like the golden suite that trade retail money and stuff that are doing quite well. Look, these strategies, there isn't like a right and a wrong. If you can find an edge and profit off it and be consistent with it, there's no right or wrong way.
100%. Yeah, you just have to find your strategy that works for you, and to make sure that it's worth your while doing your strategy and your trading plan, and then stick to it. If it works for you and it's bringing you into percentage, definitely stick to it. Don't change that and kind of open it to make it upset that.
No, and I think it is quite hard, because obviously if you're doing one thing and you're seeing someone else doing another thing, I see, people are, I might jump onto that and do that, or add this into my trading plan and do that. You end up just making a trading plan near enough impossible to trade. Like, if you're looking for 15, 20 different things, you either end up missing trades, or it's too over refined. You've got to try and keep things a little bit more simpler, and not add too much into them at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. Try and keep it as simple as possible, and just obviously textbook of what your trading plan is. So
that's it. Right, Racheal. Well, I won't keep you too much longer. Thank you very much for coming onto the podcast.
You're very welcome.
And obviously, I'll speak to you soon, and maybe I'll have you back on again later on down the road, and we can have another sort of catch up.
Definitely, yeah. It's great.
Okay, thanks very much.
Cheers. Thanks. Bye. See you later. Bye. Bye.
What a great chat there was, Racheal. She just goes to show that sort of that hard work, the pushing through any sort of barriers and stuff that you come to, that you can just push through and come out the other side a full-time trader with a funded account. Really enjoyed our chat and that this week. If you did as well, make sure you go over, give us a like, a comment and a follow. Make sure you're getting all like the latest updates and the videos. Next week we have another cracking guest. We're going to mix things up with a little bit. He's one of our newest members. We're going to find out how he's getting on with his trading journey, and we're going to find out a little bit more about him. Until next week, trade safe and catch you then.